Hello, warriors. So I just want to introduce Heather Dimick. She's from What's That Whisper podcast. And this is an interview that I was on her podcast, What's That Whisper. And I just thought it was kind of fun. So I thought I'd share it with all of my listeners. She has a great podcast about listening to the whispers. And if you haven't heard her on my podcast, you might want to look back. It's a great one. So let's dive right in. I think you're going to enjoy it. Thanks.
Welcome back, Whisper Seekers. I'm super excited for my next guest. I heard her on her podcast, the Light Keepers podcast, and I was just like, I need to talk to this woman. And this is Kimberly Katherine, and I think she has a lot of whispers to share, and I want to hear more about you. So let's get into it.
Nice. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out, Heather. Yeah, I'm excited. Been listening to a couple of your episodes and super resonates all about whispers. Such a fun thing in life, huh?
Yeah. And I thought yours, I told you before that they're very digestible and it's easy for people who are trying to make a shift or a change to just kind of hear a few things and like make it very relatable, just talking about you running even and getting back to that.
Mm-hmm. I went for a run this morning along the coast.
Yeah, you look so refreshed.
Oh, thank you. This was a quick, dirty, fast, 20 minutes. I like to go 40, 50 minutes. And I was actually just in Hawaii with my daughter. And it was so funny because it was the marathon weekend. I was like, whoa, okay, universe is talking to me. Maybe I need to train for the half marathon.
I don't know why. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be fun? Well, I'm in Santa Cruz, so there's actually a really nice one in Big Sur and Monterey. There's a couple down there too. But that was a little bit of a tangent. But I get a lot of my whispers actually when I go running.
Yeah, that's good. And that for me, that's usually writing. And I do like to add walking probably as well.
Yeah, same. And forest bathing. Do you ever do that? That's like a big one for me.
I mean, just walking in the forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we have some creeks we can do that. Walk in the forest here too in Oregon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, up there in your area, you have in your neck of the woods, a lot of beautiful spots for forest bathing. Absolutely. Yeah, I had one of my biggest, I don't know if I would call it whisper. It was more like, please tell me the message. I've had like so many monumental big changes this last 2.5 years. And this was when I had a house with my ex-husband that I needed to get it emptied. I had about 3 or 4 days, and the contractor, because we had to do some construction before we were going to put it on the market. So it was fully furnished because it was being kind of like Airbnb'd. And the contractor said, hey, Kimberly, you have to have this entire house empty by Monday. And it was Saturday. And I said, wait a minute. Maybe it was Friday. I had 3 days. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. So and it was just me doing it, right? I literally went to the forest. I went to Nisene Marks, which is in Santa Cruz County, and brought my diary and my pen. And I sat under a tree and I just said, okay, whoever, give me the message. How do I get this done in like 4 or 5 days?
I'm so glad you did that because a lot of people would do the opposite and just pile on the stress, just like they'd be packing all that stuff in their pocket.
I have, again, and this last 2.5 years have been monumental, and I have just opened up my arms to any messages that come into play because I used to get the messages all the time, and then I stopped listening, and that's when my ears started ringing 10 plus years ago. Literally, I had ringing in my ears. It was so profound. I don't know if that was the episode that you listened to, that I had my ears checked. And I had perfect hearing, and there was no issue. So, so about 2 years ago, no, it was a little bit more. Yeah, it was about 2.5 years ago. So I just put it on pause. Like, what the heck is going on? But a lot of times when people have ringing in their ears, it's actually messages from spirit, and they're trying to get your attention. So they'll try and get your attention anyway. A lot of people have earth-shattering things like a car accident. I had that too. I had a car accident that was in, 1999. And that was trying to get my attention, had a thank God I was in a BMW because it saved my life when the ambulance and everything came, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're walking away from this accident. But yeah, so the whispers, if you're not listening to them, they're going to do something to really get your attention, if that makes sense. I don't know. Have you had that happen, Heather?
No ringing of the ears, but I'm sure, I mean, just even from your day to day where you're rushing really quick and you're like, I need to grab all this stuff instead of just taking an extra minute to breathe. And then you can actually find your car keys.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
the truth?
really
Well,
is hectic.
here's another funny whisper. So the whispers come in all different like degrees, right? We were packing to go. Now my daughter's about ready to transfer down to Southern California for 4-year university. She was just graduated from community college. And we're packing. I was like, oh, it'd be so nice to take her on a lovely trip. We've been through so much through before going away to college. She's been in college, but 4-year college. Let's go to Hawaii. So I'm packing. And for some reason, I got the message to pack Advil and Tylenol. And I'm like, I don't really drink. So it's not like I'm going to have a headache in the morning. She's not 21. And even she's going to be 21. She won't really drink. It just doesn't resonate with her. And I go, okay, I'll just go ahead and pack it. And yeah, lo and behold, we needed it. The last day, she was incredibly sick. She had a really high fever. We needed both of those to toggle her fever. So she didn't have COVID, did the COVID test. She ended up having strep throat, and we got her whole to travel home, and everything worked out. But that was definitely a whisper of Advil, Tylenol, because there was definitely a little voice that said, pack those two things. Have you had that happen? Something like that?
Yeah, of course. Like, I didn't know why I brought this. And then you actually needed it.
Yeah. Or you're in Trader Joe's and for some reason you grab the coconut water. You're like, I don't even ever drink this. Why do I need this? And then you need the electrolytes in 3 days.
Well, that happened to me like a couple of weeks ago when I went to get a massage. And
Mm-hmm.
literally I could walk there, but I wasn't quite sure where it was. And since I
Yeah.
was on a time crunch, of course, I ran into an old coworker at that moment. I was like, ah, Doreen. I was like,
Yeah.
that was fun. I mean, those are fun when I run into people like that. And that's
Right.
a whisper could be go to the store now. And then you actually run into somebody that
Yeah.
you needed to talk to.
And also really interesting, Heather. This morning I reflected because, I was kind of getting ready for our little interview here today. And I was excited and I was thinking, this is interesting. Whispers. People think of it like spirit or their higher self or a loved one or all kinds. You know what? Whispers come from other people. They are the channel and they're not even channelers. So I had that happen this morning. Got my hair done because I wanted to look nice yeah, there you go. If you look at some of my most previous podcasts, I was like ripping off the Band-Aid, so just doing natural. But in the mall where I go get my hair done here locally, there's this guy and he's amazing. Shout out to Eddie. He has this coffee shop and he's a conspiracy guy. So he's hysterical. So I go in there and I'm like, hey Eddie, and we're talking and he's expanding. And he's really into conspiracy stuff, which, take it or leave it. I'm whatever. I just think it's fun and funny. And there's no judgment. I have no judgment on anybody. I've gone through that phase. But he had some dark opinions and stuff. And his coffee shop is even painted all black. And it's just funny, reptilian, all the everything. And again, there's no judgment there. But then we're talking dark stuff. And then he goes, hey, and go out there and spread some light. And I'm like, there you go. There's a little whisper, right?
Yeah.
So the whispers really are everywhere.
Yeah.
They really are everywhere. But I find that our nervous system has to be regulated to hear it and recognize it.
I definitely agree.
Because if it's not, we don't recognize it. We don't see it. We don't hear it. It could be right. They come in songs. Are you ever in Target or whatever your grocery store is, and that song comes on for the perfect time, and it's like a wink?
Oh, right. Or yes. Or maybe your favorite songs mean something else to you when you listen to it again and you're like, yes, that hits home.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's so fun. I always like to make playlists. So when we were in Hawaii, I was making a a playlist. I'm like, oh, I know all these songs mean something. And then it's funny because then I stopped when my daughter got sick.
Oh,
She even made a note of that. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, then they take you back to that time you had with your daughter before she went off to college,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
special in itself, right?
Oh, it's like so tender. It's kind of funny. Well, funny, whatever. I don't know what the word is, but the whole empty nest. Like I've had some grief. I'm working with somatic coach, and I was voxing her all day yesterday. I was in tears. I was crying like a big old crybaby. I was like the night before my daughter was crying, and she came in, and I was like the pillar of strength. And then yesterday she was with her boyfriend. They went down to Monterey, and I was kind of like, thank goodness, because I was the biggest crybaby. I mean, I've just got one. I don't mean just. And I had her older. I was 40 when I had her, and I didn't have any fertility or anything. And we are so close, and we've been through so much in the last 2.5 years. And she's had a lot of health issues, but she's really surpassed it. And she's just done, I'm just so proud of her. She's done so phenomenal. But yeah, it was a big crybaby yesterday.
Well, you let it out, so that makes you feel better today.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It does, right? How many, what do you have? 3 kids?
We have 3 boys. Yeah.
Oh, boys, that's right. Oh my God. Wow, you're a saint. You're a saint. What are some of the whispers? Do your boys ever give you whispers?
That's a really good question. Maybe to hang out with them more. My youngest one always tells me how great I am, so that feels nice.
Oh, isn't that so
Yeah. I
sweet?
mean, they're all really super sweet, but yeah, I think just to hang out with them more and just make sure you're not on your phone when you're hanging out with them. Those are
Yeah.
because it happens really fast and then they're off to college.
It does. It really does. Yeah. It's so interesting you say that because the week that my daughter graduated from community college, I put the intention out to be present. And that week was beautiful. And actually, I didn't even cry at her graduation. I could have, but I didn't. And it was probably one of the most beautiful weeks. And it really set the tone for the whole summer. And I really was just soaking in all the absolute goodness. And we had like a little graduation party for her with her friends and some family, the day of the graduation. And yeah, being present is so beautiful. And that again is when you hear all those beautiful whispers and messages. Do you remember the first time you heard your first whisper?
This is supposed to be about you, but
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, okay, well, I'll keep talking.
but I like this back and forth. This is great too.
You know what? This is my first interview, so thank you so much.
Yeah, let's
I
practice together.
yeah, let's practice together. I don't really know.
Having fun.
I know, really? Yeah, go ahead and
I
then I'll
think
go.
maybe mine would be moving out of Alaska down to Washington and finishing school. So that would be a pretty big whisper.
Yeah.
17.
Wow, that is a big one. That is a really big one. I'm trying to think of my first whisper, to tell you the truth. Ooh,
And I'm sure I've had some before,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like because like my friends changed in like junior high and high school. And then like you get
Mhm.
feelings for, you don't know who you are. You don't know who your friends are. So
Yeah,
then you just kind of got to get stronger for yourself. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Start following the little paths that lead you somewhere, even though I probably switched my friends quite a bit. One friend I'm still friends with, which is really nice. But
That is nice. I have to think, I think probably the first one was not necessarily a whisper. It was a big, and that was my car accident. It was like October 1999, and it was pretty bad. Like I said, thank God I was in a BMW because my mom was behind me. I had a bunch of tile in the car, and she was like, I think she was maybe one car behind me, something like that. I was driving in Orange County, and I wasn't going over speed limit. It was like 35, 40 or something. And out of nowhere, this big work van came and hit me on the side. And then I spun this way, spun the other way because somebody else hit me or something. I don't know. But that was definitely somebody trying to get my attention, right? Because
yeah,
then I had a concussion for like a year and just, bright lights, couldn't concentrate, all kinds of stuff. And when
what
I
do you
reached,
think that
what,
happened?
what's that?
So what do you think that happened?
I think that whisper or that big jolt was to get my attention because I was in sales and I was really successful and I liked it, but I don't know. There was just something that didn't like resonate totally with my soul. You know, I wasn't selling my soul, but it didn't necessarily completely resonate with my soul. And then, let's see, that was October. And then about 7 months after, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So that was May of 2000. And that was another, hey, we're getting your attention, right? And then a big pivot to my life. And in between there, I think it might have been November, December 99. I became a Reiki master. And that was because I was trying to heal myself. And
You heal your MS.
first, that car accident because of the head stuff, and then the MS, yeah. And I practiced. I was a practitioner for, I guess, before I got married, and then a little bit, but not really. When I got married February 2002, and everything just, it didn't stop, but it just kind of slowly stopped. Had my daughter in 2004. And when I was pregnant and I was little, I would always give her Reiki and, sing and read and talk to her and all that. And then I would give distance healings. And this, I mean, Reiki back then was so like nobody, it was so woo woo back then. But I would do distance healings. My mom was really sick at one point, and I was traveling down to go see her because I lived in Northern, she lived in Southern California. So I was giving her distance Reiki at the time. And so funny, it was just like so intuitive for me. Isn't that weird? It's so wild.
So
Anyway,
how do you think Reiki has helped you
oh,
heal?
it's healed me. Yeah, I'm completely healed with
Yeah.
MS. That was my we were talking about bios and all that kind of stuff before we started recording. I'm also a spiritual medium, and I don't really. It's so funny. All this stuff now is just like drinking water. It's like a commodity. Everybody does Reiki. I have these great infused oils, and it says Reiki infused. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere, right? Along with everybody's a medium. Everybody channels. Everybody all that. I worked with a spiritual medium. She was a mentor. She mentored me for about 4 or 5 months, and so I'm with that circle of people. We meet up every week. So yesterday we were on our weekly Zoom, and I was talking to them about my podcast actually, and just saying how, any words of wisdom or this or that. And they're like, I don't really, and they're like, you don't resonate with MS. I go, no, I don't at all. It's not my story anymore. I don't even resonate with it. It's just, I'm past it along with my old life. And they're like, yeah, well, maybe you're going to do a podcast about that. So I'm at such a crossroads. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I truly, well, I've done a lot of deep healing, a lot of deep work. So yeah, it was the Reiki, and probably most recently is the somatic work. And, that all goes back to the whispers, to get back on track, Heather, with your podcast, which is if you don't listen to the whispers or the screaming, like the car accidents or the chronic illness, it doesn't go away and it stays in your body. There's such a connection, really, truly, with body, mind, spirit. I never really understood that till recently. It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think healing yourself from MS or something along the lines, you have to kind of know where it came from, or do you learn? Like, what did you learn from it, I guess?
So interesting. I don't know with the MS. I'd have to go a little deeper with that. But with this most recent somatic work that I've been doing with a practitioner, I mean, I've done really, really deep work. I started work, I met her in Kathy's world, and she was part of that. She's freaking amazing. She's just amazing. But, things that have happened, and when I say happen to you, I don't mean necessarily people always think, oh, abuse. It's not that. It's a lot of times it's you're young, you're 6 or 7, and somebody says something to you and you misinterpret it. Or your parents or your sibling or whomever, the way they deliver it is their delivery might not be child appropriate. And again, it's not icky or X-rated. It's just coming from their lens. And so you're misinterpreting it, and then you respond a certain way. And I didn't really realize that age 6, 7, 8 is just so impressionable. Gosh, I wish I knew this when I was raising my daughter. Or when we were
same. Yeah.
right? Isn't it amazing?
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So to answer your question, yeah, the Reiki definitely absolutely helped. And honestly, meditation, running, diet, I've done every diet possible. Not like to lose weight or this or that, but just for inflammation.
Sure.
And acupuncture. Oh my God. I mean, there was 2 years I went 5 or 6 times a week. And I think that really, really helped me with menopause. In fact, I know it because I really didn't have any issues, which is like freaking phenomenal. I meet so many women.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can, and my most recent episode, I, kind of talk about healing and stuff. And I'm not giving medical advice or anything. I'm giving it from my perspective. But I can tell you right now, acupuncture is like phenomenal. If you have access and either the means or you have, healthcare that covers a lot of it, and get a great practitioner for women who are going through that phase in life. Oh, hands down.
Yeah. Like I decided to look at it more of like shooting and creating something new instead of something so heavy and more negative. Yeah. Yeah. At first I thought I might be pre-menopause, but we'll see. But and then I believe it. You do have to take care of yourself and maybe change your diet so you don't have
Oh.
symptoms and you're not sweating and letting it take over the body.
The biggest thing is really we make the decision.
Yeah.
With whatever it is. It all lies within. So if the decision is, I want to be in charge of perimenopause, menopause, and whatever the time frame after, because it all starts right here. Honestly, it all starts right up in the brain, the decision. And then once you make that decision, the plan of how you attack it is just the recipe. And as we know, like I love to do research, you do that whole human design thing. I'm a manifestor 1-3, so I'm all about research. I can't research enough. So let's go back to recipes. I'll look at 10 cookbooks or look online before I decide which method I'm going to do. But really, how you approach it is your own personal recipe.
Yeah.
But the first thing is the decision. Because once you decide, then it's fun. And to make it fun. Make it like, oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. And really, money doesn't need to be that, because there's so many low inflammatory diets where it's probably actually much more economical than just Rochambeau, what am I going to do? If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I've been hungry, almost ate a whole bag of big chips, Yeah.
Let's
I
not
love
talk
eating
about
chips and salsa. Let's go.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's not talk about the popcorn I got into last night. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe an apple would be a little better, but
I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I just got 7 more days, and when she's, I drop her off, and when she's gone, I'll be back on my.
Yeah. What had you deciding to do your podcast?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Sorry, what had you to decide to do your podcast?
Well, I think that was an absolute whisper. I just kind of fell into it. So let's see, my divorce finalized April 8th, 2024, Buddha's birthday. There's the universe screaming, saying, yeah, this is correct. I didn't even know it was Buddha's birthday. I got the email the day after from my divorce lawyer and saying, okay, Kim, I don't know if you want to hear this, but it was confirmed yesterday, April 8th. I'm like, wow, okay.
It's fun to have those little reminders that you're on the right path.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, I love that. I was all kinds of things. Through somebody else, I met, actually, she's a healer also. I met her in Sedona. I went there for my 60th birthday. I'm like, I'm taking charge and having fun. And I met another healer. She told me about my, mentor, spiritual medium mentor. So then I started working with her, and then she told me about Kathy Heller. I'd never heard of her. She goes, oh, the new book. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I'll listen to it. got into the Kathy Heller program, did the 21 day, remember, in January. But you've been part of her group for quite some time, I think. Yeah. And so then I did the 21 day, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll join. And then the podcast thing, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll do that. So,
And
you
here you
know,
are. Now you have a podcast
yeah,
sharing your
just
story,
kind of following the breadcrumbs. I guess that's what they say, right? Follow the
sharing your
breadcrumbs.
life from the dark coffee shop.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Something like that. And you know what? And when I started her program, she had already, like, I think this new one that she's starting, I'm in September, that's like the big one. And then it's just all digital. So you can go back. So I was kind of like doing the digital one, and they'd have like a weekly something in her podcast program. But it's phenomenal. And everybody says, hey, it's great. Your life will change. Everything will unfold. Well, I'll tell you, when I did my launch, which was June 23rd, I cried all day.
Aw.
I was
Just
like,
from relieved or what?
um, I don't know. It was just like, okay, I'm out there. There's no going back.
Yeah.
I launched my healing business on December 13th, which Friday, December 13th, 2024. And I didn't realize that's actually a very auspicious day, Friday the 13th. I didn't even know. Learning all these different
That's the
things.
day my youngest was born, on Friday the 13th.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
1313.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
We're like, what's all that? This will be fun.
yeah, that is
Well, I
fun.
made another minute.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that wild? So, yeah, wow, 1313. That's amazing. So, yeah, I think the little breadcrumbs can get you to the whispers. Another really super fun whisper. So I have a dog, a Portuguese water dog, and we walk. I'll be getting back to all my walking too. I say that just because it's not that life is on pause right now. I'm just like I'm just wanting to be home for every moment that my daughter's still here. But I walk my dog, and there's this one, where they have those signs like detour or something like that. And we were walking down this hill and had one of those, and it said, I love you. And I'm like, oh, is that sweet? There's another little whisper
And we just have to be aware of them. They're around us all day.
they're around us all day.
Yeah.
And when we're in the rushy rush, we miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear the people tell us at the coffee shop, the construction signs. Sometimes it's just that all knowing. Yeah, they're coming from all different places, but yeah, so kind of fun.
Yeah. How has Kimberly grown within the last year?
Ugh, leaps and bounds. I'm a completely different person from a year ago. Completely different. Let's see, it is September 12th. Well, September 12th, I had been working with my September 12th, 2024. I wasn't still quite in fight or flight. I was calming down from that. Still running a lot. I was running a lot. I was working with in the beginning of working with my spiritual medium as a mentoring with her. And I hadn't launched my business yet. Still trying to keep my daughter whole. She had started to begin to apply to different 4-year universities. And I hadn't even thought about a podcast. Like, if somebody would have said, oh, you'll have a podcast in a year, I would have been like, what? No, I don't think so. I hadn't even heard of Kathy Heller yet. I hadn't heard about her till December 2024. So isn't it amazing how much can change in a year, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you just look at your photos, you're like, wow, I did a lot within 365 days.
I know. Isn't that the truth?
When we
Yeah.
feel like we're not doing enough, it's good to have a little bit of reminders right there.
No, that is so true. Gosh. Yeah. Remember, it's so funny. My daughter, one thing she wants to get is a digital camera, right? She goes, oh, I just want to do, I'm like, well, what about your phone? Remember back in the days when she thinks it's so fun to get those disposable ones.
Oh, yeah. But that took forever. You never took them to the drugstore to get them printed.
Oh my God. And not only that, you pay for them, and sometimes they're just black
Yes.
or there's a yellow light. And they're really expensive now. They're more expensive than they used to be. So she likes to get those. She went on a trip with some friends over the summer. She's like, I want to get one of those disposable cameras. I think we still need to go pick the frickin' things up.
Probably.
Yeah. It's CVS or something. I'm like, use my 40% off coupon. That's when it really comes into play when you have to go get your disposable
Oh, I
camera
always look for those.
for
Yeah.
$35. Yeah. Like, oh. And then they'd come in with the little CD. It's like, oh, do I get the CD? Do I get one copy, two copies?
Yeah. Maybe one for each of you.
I know, right? Back in the day. Little side tangent, sorry.
All right. Tell me more about like being a medium. And I don't know too much about that because that's not my
Oh.
house, but I would love to learn a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting. When I think back about my early days of being a Reiki master, I did get the messages like when I would do treatments on people, but the mentoring with the spiritual medium, I mean, I love that community. It's so fun because we all come in with different talents and stuff. But basically, it's channeling your guides. That's from yeah, because there's different mediumship. There's mediumship that everybody just thinks dead people, right? But I do channel my mom a lot, and I have my dad. And actually, yeah, come to think of it, my mom is a big whisperer. She whispers to me all the time. A lot of times through my daughter, she has done that a lot. But we basically channel in anything from angels to your spirit guides, and sometimes loved ones come through. But the loved ones come through are usually the ones that are of the highest good, and they could have gone up to the angelic realm.
Mhm.
I've channeled a good friend of mine. She lost her daughter about 5 years ago. She was pretty young, like 7 years. And usually when they pass and they're so young, they're angels that come down, and that's why they pass so young. And I hope this isn't controversial or I'm offending anybody by saying this, but they're here actually to spread lightness on the family and teach lessons, and that's why they go so young. And that's why it's so incredibly hard. But I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
Do you feel like you had them when you were younger and you weren't sure what was going on?
It's
Oh.
interesting. No. I mean, I could have, but when I talk to some people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I always saw this, or I saw dead people, or I don't see dead people." I'm kind of glad I don't. I'm not like that, like from the sixth sense. I just get all knowing. Like when I do treatments, because I'm a healer, I just get the messages. It's just this all knowing. And the nice thing with mediumship that a lot of people don't really understand is you can put the parameters. You can say, look, you can put the gates on. I don't want to see this. You can take control. Or you can only give me the messages between this time and this time. Because some people just have the floodgates coming all the time. And there's can be some ego involved. I've seen that in some of these circles where people get messages and then the ego gets involved and
I mean, like my ego would get involved, or are you talking about the spirit?
no, the channeler.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
The ego gets involved, and it truly is the message, but the ego gets involved. So like myself, let's say if I was channeling and I'm getting all this stuff and I just want to share it and share it and share it, you have to use discernment because it has to be at the pace that the person wants to receive. But a lot of times the messages that you receive are what the person can handle at the time. But you still need to use discernment, and because you got to go slow. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do the whole floodgate for the person. You actually lose credibility, and you have to be conscious about it.
And I would feel like that's the same with your somatic coach, right? Because you want to do, I mean, God, she'd probably be down and out for days if you did it all at once.
I said to her, I've been working with her since, well, we met in like February of this year. And then I did just like a one session thing and I manifested immediately. And then I did a group thing and it was pretty good. And then I thought, I'll do another one. And then I was like, okay, I've done so much work. I'll just do a little bit. And I signed up for 3 months. And I got to tell you, I mean, this is what happened in like 6 months. Okay, let's see. My ex-husband is not stable. So he was very erratic. We had a litigation with the house that we owned together. It was being rented out, which was perfect, but we needed to, we did, but I was spearheading it. Clear it out, do the construction for the litigation, have the construction going on, finish the litigation, put it up for sale, sell it, have him continue to with the MSA, which is the marital settlement agreement, have him complete because he hadn't complete what his piece of the pie was on that one. Meanwhile, still have my lawyer involved, get my daughter whole with her health, as well as assist her and be her, pillar for what she does with college. What else was there? Sell the house. So the somatic, I said to the somatic coach, I said, God, I go, this is really great. I go, but like if I wasn't working with you, how would I have gotten through all this? She goes, Kim, you would have gotten through all this, but you would have been like white knuckled and collapsed at the end. Because this is like beyond all this in such a condensed period.
Yeah.
And then in a week, I'll be an empty nester.
Well, at least that's a baby step later.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess I'm just kind of saying that it was a whole heck of a lot in a condensed amount of time period. And add on to that, in a time frame of 2.5 years, my dad passed, my ex-husband's mother passed, his company, I mean, just, I remember when I started with my therapist and I said, Matt, is this normal? Everything is, he goes, yeah, Kim. When you usually like somebody who's going through a divorce, everything is just collapsing. And it was my whole world collapsing because I needed to get into a new time zone or time frame or timeline. That's what it is.
And then you got to find the new Kim. And so you're probably,
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
Exactly. But I'm so grateful for all of my helpers and healers along the way to hold my hand, along the way. And you're absolutely right, because I just signed up for another 3 months just to get through this next piece with my somatic coach. And she said, I got to tell you, she goes, there's no way we could have done this deep work you've done up to here 6 months ago. And she's right. All that other stuff, like the acupuncture, the running, the meditating, the journaling, that just softens it up so you can go deep.
You think that like after you have like a somatic, like not a treatment, but you go through that, can you go running afterwards, or do you feel like that's a day you have to do nothing?
A lot of times what I'll do, I've had so many shifts, Heather, like crazy shifts. Like I can feel my cellular system changing. One of the deepest sessions, and then I'll answer your question. One of the deepest sessions, my daughter said to me after, because, it's on a Zoom, shout out to Christy Ingleton. She's freaking amazing. If anybody wants to DM me, I will give you her contact information. But my daughter would look at me after some of these sessions and go, Mom, are you okay? Because I was like just sorting it through. One of the deepest ones, literally for 3 days, I was a zombie. Because it changes your, how Kathy always talks about vibration? And that resonated with me. Kathy Heller, she talks in the beginning. I think it might be in her book also. I'm going to listen to her book again. She talks about when you do like a guitar, and I think you do the strings, the other guitars that are at the same something, then they start doing that at the same vibration.
Because if you hit the D string, they're all going to vibrate.
Yes, that's it. So all of us vibrate at a certain vibration level. And what do? We bring in other people at the same vibration that we're vibrating. We attract them. So if you want to elevate in whatever regard, whether it's health, wealth, spirituality, bringing love in your life, you've got to get rid of that clutter in your vessel. Well, how do you get rid of that clutter in your vessel? If you've been suppressing things because of childhood, or it could be at any age, really, some type of trauma. And when I say trauma, I don't mean necessarily abuse. It could be trauma of like, I walked in and I gave a speech and I was embarrassed. That could be your trauma.
You had a car accident.
Or you had a car accident. Yeah, it could really be, whatever. You have to get through that and feel that emotion, go through that emotion to get it out of your body. So it finally clicked. I didn't quite understand what Kathy was saying until I've experienced it myself. But it's really amazing because, like, that's the whole thing with you're on a different timeline. I'm on a completely different timeline with
Well,
my.
and it's really amazing because we're like shoving it in the closet and like keep
Yes,
the door closed, and there's no room for nothing new to come in.
there you go.
And then you're just like, well, why can't I be creative? Why can't I get this done? Because you're not letting go of the stuff that's in the closet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it goes right back to your podcast, the whispers. You can't even freaking hear the whispers if you got all this clutter in your in your vessel. You
No,
can't.
no.
And isn't it so another really, really strong whisper I did hear was might have been 3 months ago. It was clear the clutter, clear the clutter. And I was like, and so I literally, and I completely downsized when my daughter and I moved, and I had to tell her all the everything I wanted. That's a whole nother podcast, but we left everything. I mean, I really did push the reset button. That was little over 2 years ago. Anyway, some of this stuff, I don't have much here. I got everything. I just got it. But I love that minimalism. But it was go through all those little drawers and just touch everything and clear that clutter. And it's amazing. Even like the linen closet and the paper closet and the this and the that. And after I did that, oh my God, my brain felt so clear. Isn't that
It's
amazing?
amazing how that is. Yeah. I love to organize and clean. And don't get me wrong, I still got stuff to get rid of, but it feels so good. And when I'm like,
Doesn't
oh,
it?
I can breathe in this area. Like I like the desk to be somewhat organized so I could sit there and not think
Yeah.
about that I should move that piece of paper that's sitting here to my left.
Well, it's an interesting kind of muscle that needs to be utilized and developed. I wasn't raised with that. And my mom wasn't, she wasn't like a clutter freak or what do they call it when you get a bunch of, yeah, she wasn't a horse. She just didn't, she was a depression baby. So we just didn't have much, which
Right.
was fine. But that can also bring in a scarcity thing too, right? Oh, it's on sale. Let's get more.
I'm going to run out of this someday.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's not even go through that. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I have a little bit of that in me, like because we lost some storage sheds growing up. So I didn't have a lot of my things. So I've lost things here and there when I growing up. So I was like, oh, maybe I should keep it. And it's usable, but I give things away and I'll give them to friends and I'll take it to wherever it needs to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was a long tangent there. I'm not really.
That is a good thing. I mean, that's really put into life's perspective that we just hold on to more things than we need.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely, definitely do. But yeah, the somatic work was amazing. And it really goes back to if you don't, and I didn't even understand, oh, do the shadow work. I'm like, what? Inner child work. What? Now I do. Did you did you know about it? I didn't know
I've
about
been
it.
working on it. That was my word of the year was to heal this year. So,
Yeah, that's right.
and I think I got some more work to do, but so I got to dig a little deeper. And I was like, maybe that's what I work on, clearing out my kids' closet and finish healing. And then maybe that'll open up the doors to new things.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of trying to shove it all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you tend to do when you have a full-time job and kids in sports.
Well, you got a busy schedule. I mean,
Yeah, it's nice and full. I try not to say busy because that's not really, I'm like, because I'm lucky. So, sometimes it is one thing after the other.
yeah. Yeah. You got to just look at it like nice, beautiful little nuggets and
Yeah,
stuff.
but when I'm watching a game, I'm sitting next to my friend. So, like, there's a community as well versus just having to go sit on a bench, you know?
Yeah. Totally. And community is that's such richness, isn't it? That was also part of my healing process was a whole new community. Yeah.
Especially
Running.
when you're breaking down all your walls and having to start over.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I moved here, nothing, zero. Yeah.
When I did that one, that's when I was 17 and I moved. I moved with someone else, but it's like we didn't really know anybody. We knew a couple people.
Yeah.
I had to go to school and meet everybody. And I'm like, they're okay people, but they want to do drugs.
Uh,
I don't want to do drugs.
yeah. No, no.
It
So
just was like, I was like, they might be spiraling down a lifestyle I don't want to go. So, and I
yeah,
maybe I wasn't meant for them, but that's all right.
yeah,
So then it feels lonely at times when you're still,
yeah. It does. That's where I came up with the name of my podcast, which is The Light Keeper's Path, because it's really that deep inner light that we all have to shine when you're going through the storm, you
yeah.
know. I've been I had that conversation with my daughter. I said, when you're off there in college, there's going to be a lot of information coming and there's going to be a lot of different stuff. And listen to your body, because if you have that gut feeling it doesn't feel right, listen to it, lean into it, move away, or put your boundaries up, or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever that is. I stopped listening to I had the whispers early on in my previous life for 20, 21 years, and I didn't have the words to ask others. I questioned, but I don't have any regrets from my previous life, my other chapters, married life and all that, because I have my beautiful daughter. And if anything, I could thank that other person for all the lessons. I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah. I agree with that kind of stuff.
I mean, I have to have absolute gratitude. That person was the channel for all those messages that I needed to learn.
Yeah. And maybe you were the channel for the other person, Yeah.
Exactly.
Can't always look at things like that when we have to shift negatively.
No, You have to have absolute love and grace for it, and lean into it, because the other way it doesn't, it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets you into resentment and all that other dark and,
Well, then you're angry at each other. I mean, maybe sometimes you can't have a relationship. Maybe sometimes you can if we can learn to let things go.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And just let people be who they are, which
Yeah.
is hard. Everybody wants to
Oh,
fix everybody else.
yeah. Oof, tell me about it.
I always say it's so much easier to do that, but
Surrendering, that's the biggest, right?
yeah,
And knowing when to walk away.
yeah,
Knowing when to walk away. I think it's really, really, really bold. A lot of people just don't walk away. They stick around.
yeah. Because I mean, even your nervous system can't handle it. You're used to feeling a certain way, and you'll just go find it with somebody else.
Well, it's kind of interesting, like with world events that, people will say and they'll emphasize, and I have compassion for whatever the world event is at that moment in time. But when we stop and we look, the world events have been happening since time began. My mom used to say, "Oh, mom," she would say, "Oh, we used to be worried about whatever it was at the time." It just changed. The story just changes.
Yeah,
But as a collective, I think we need to be really careful where we put our energy, because if we start to throw out fear or a divide, that does not help the collective.
no.
When you send just love and light to it, and I may sound really frickin' Pollyanna, but let me tell you, I got a lot of life. I got a lot of life
Well, and you
to
can even
back
just
that up.
yeah, and do that with yourself, or do that with your people that you're around every day, and then it just
Yeah,
becomes a trickle effect.
exactly.
Find
But
your
just,
people you work with.
yeah.
Sometimes they're not feeling seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Feeling seen. Yeah, definitely. But just like, some of the life stuff that's just recently happened, and
pretty heavy this week.
it is. And instead of chiming in on the Facebook threads or the or you just literally, you just pray, not just, you pray and you send it light to lighten it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to sound Pollyanna, but that truly is true. I mean, with my different medium, ship groups and stuff like that's, we'll do meditations and pray for, those situations.
nice.
So critical and key. And really, really, with the LA fires, I was sending a lot of healing light down there. My daughter was down there. It was really scary.
Not
And,
bad.
and I've had sessions with, there's another healer in, God, where is she? She's in Australia. She's freaking amazing. She has a lot of clients in LA. And we were talking, it must have been like Must have been like February. I think I had a session with her. We were talking about that, and she was sending a lot of healing down there too. It really makes a huge difference, with all those LA fires, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. I think I
pretty,
scrolled everything for a week.
it's pretty devastating. Yeah, I got my daughter out of there. She was right there in it. She was, and my nephew too. Yeah, I got him out of there. And when I say I got him out, I sent them a healing to
Yeah.
calm them down. My daughter didn't even know what was going on. That's how calm she was. It's so powerful. And again, it goes back to regulating your nervous system. But so then you can make the decisions, you can be calm, you can listen to the whispers. But again, going back to the guitars and the Kathy Heller story being on the same note, if you don't work on your nervous system and you're just used to being in, fight or flight, which sometimes it's good to be at fight or flight, but not 100% of the time. So if you're just used to being that, then you're gonna be that. I mean, I was in that for 2.5 years. I did not sleep for 2.5 years. My ex-husband would wake me up 3 times in the night.
Yeah.
That's what I was. So it was a lot of work to get to this place, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's all good. It's all good. I'm so glad. I have so much gratitude for where I am now at this place. Kathy Heller's community is phenomenal. I mean, we wouldn't have met. I mean, this is
You
great.
bring the best people together.
Doesn't she? God, she's really amazing. I love how she is such a chameleon. She constantly changes.
Yeah.
From when I joined in January to how the program is today, it's amazing.
Right. Well, she's not going to let anything stop her in her growth.
Nope. She is such a visionary.
Yeah.
And she really does talk. She lives her talk, or whatever that saying is. I mean, she's so giving. Not just the, hey, do this and I'll, buy my books and this or that. I mean, just letting people network and offer their services in her own community. That's so giving. I haven't really been in any others, but people have said they've been in other communities and they wouldn't let you do that. So
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I know. So great.
You want to tell people where they can find you? And
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. My podcast is The Light Keeper's Path, and I'm on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you watch today's version, I do have a blowout. Some of the others I don't.
I'm not going to recognize you.
Yeah. And then I'm also on Instagram. It's kimberly.katherine.spirits. Or you can go to my website, The Kimberly Katherine.
We'll add that to everything. So
Thank you. I love that.
Thanks for being here and sharing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heather. This is so beautiful. I can't wait to have you on mine.
Can't wait to share some whispers with you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to see what comes through today, right?
Right?
Be so fun.